We're on and in. It's GTV's Native Speakers Academy educational blog. I'm smiling because this is the third time I've tried to do this. The first time somebody called me in the middle of it, and the second time my computer just decided to shut down all by itself. Wonderful. Let's try to get this done. This is an addition, addendum, a little bit extra that I'm adding onto what I recorded earlier today, which was on the subject of how to choose a language school for yourself or your children or anyone in your family. This is basically designed for people who don't work in the educational sphere, because if you're a teacher, then you basically know what you are looking for. And even if you're not a teacher, you might know somebody who's a teacher in your family, or maybe a friend of a friend. It's a really good place to start to ask teachers where they would go, or what school they would choose, and begin there, basically, in your search for a language school. So I covered 5 points earlier today. Those points were: don't believe the hype. The teacher is more important than the school. How many lessons will you have? Homework is key, and how big is the class? So if you want to look at or hear what I said about those different topics, then just look at the first part of this little video blog. So let's try to continue here, and we will see how far we get. For the first half of my information, the first half of the talk, my notes were quite organized. But for the second half, I really am a little bit all over the place. So bear with me if I sidetrack or go off on a big tangent somewhere. It might take me a little minute, a few seconds to get organized. So moving on. Point 6 in the list of our subjects of how to choose a language school. Where is the classroom? This is about the organization of the actual class. Is it in a quiet part of the building? Are the chairs and tables or desks comfortable? Is there enough room for students to freely move around so that they're not elbowing each other, or they're not tripping over a chair or a bag, or their coats are lying on the floor somewhere? The acoustics are also quite important. If it's a larger room, can you hear the teacher clearly? Can you hear other people speaking? Light. Is there enough light so that you can read clearly everything that you have to? I have been in some schools where there are larger rooms and the acoustics bad because the sound is bouncing off the wall, or there's only one weak light bulb, so in the middle of winter you can't actually read things properly. Or I've seen classrooms where the light reflects off the board, there's a strong glare, and students can't actually see what's written there. So you want to make sure that those are not going to be any problems. Maybe you want to make sure there are blinds on the windows so that you can block out the sun when you need to. These are all little things to think about. So have a look at the classroom. Ask to see the actual room where the lessons take place. Have a look around it. See how you feel in that room, because that will make a difference. You can't go into these situations totally blind. You also need to think about, and this is from a teacher's perspective, the kind of dynamics that are going to happen within the room. Where are people going to sit? How are they going to sit? How are they going to interact? How is the lesson or the meeting going to be organized? So that was point 6. Moving on, point 7. Don't be fooled by technologies. Basically meaning that just because a school has the most modern or latest technology, it doesn't actually mean that that's going to provide a better level of education within that school. A lot of studies show that learning is based basically on human interaction and human contact. This means that the information is traveling directly from a tutor or a teacher or a lecturer directly to the students. It's not passing through technology. Not that there's anything wrong with technology, and not that we can't do wonderful things now with iPads, bringing up pictures, using that as stimulus for the students, or using a projector to project some images for ideas onto the wall, or even showing a short clip from the internet, a little YouTube video to give students a better understanding of a topic. So technology can be used, but it's not the key or most important element. And consider the way that even babies learn. They learn from that human contact element, always that human contact element, copying their mother. The best classrooms, in fact, are classrooms of the heart. So maybe you want to, when you're in the classroom, have a look around the classroom. Has care been taken in the presentation of the room? Is there some examples of maybe some students' good work on the walls? That doesn't have to be, but that might be nice. Or even some nice posters. Has care been taken there? So that's another element to think about. Part 8, or idea 8, is how much control does the parent or student have over the subject input within the class? Some parents don't want to have control. That's fine. You trust the school, trust the teacher. But you also want to be able to have some choices there. You want to be able to maybe have some input on the subjects or the themes that are going to be covered, either in conversation or speaking, or any of the 5 skills that you want to be practiced there. And it doesn't matter what course you do, even if it's a speaking conversation-based course, you still want to include all the elements within the course, because the conversation is just the output. We need the input at the same time. So we will need some writing, we'll need some listening, you will need some speaking, some reading, and some grammar and vocabulary. So you're going to need all those 5 things going on there as well. It might even be that those are given for homework. That's perfectly okay. So you want to be in a situation where you have some control as well over the education that's taking place. So that if you're not happy, you can try to implement a procedure to change a little bit of what's happening there. Point 9, will there be a test? A lot of debate on the positives and negatives of tests. I stand in the middle. I don't believe that people should be tested if they don't want to be tested. You know what you know, and that's all that really matters. However, tests can be used as very good motivation. If you don't have an aim, a target, a goal, at the end, you might not get as far as you want to go, and tests can be motivation to learn more, for revision, for looking back over the work that you have done, refreshing your ideas on areas. So I would say that tests in the context of a language school are probably quite important, but not always in every situation. You want to know what the results of the tests mean. You want to know what percentage you want to get, and you want to know how that affects your progress. Will you be able to continue, go to the next level? So you want to think about those future endpoints. What is the endpoint? What is the goal? And how does that affect where you want to go beyond that point in time as well? And tests are important when we consider those issues. Part 10 is simply the question, why am I studying? Or why is my son or my daughter studying? Who is it for? Is it for me? Is it for school? Is it for them? Is it for a family? Is it for a job? Is it for the future? What is their motivation? Is it intrinsic or extrinsic? Because good education has both intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. The person will want to learn and motivate themselves from inside, and they will use that to draw information and learning from the environment of the classroom or wherever they're learning. So, so it needs a balance of both. Now, this is not complete. There are other considerations, and I'm going to run through these very quickly because we could talk about this forever. So other things that we need to really, really consider or keep in the back of our mind when we're choosing the school. Who is in the class? Who are the students? Are they of a similar age range or not? If there's a mix, why is there a mix? Is that mix going to work okay? Are there similar themes and topics? Who's the best and who's the worst? Because a group can only travel as fast as the slowest person within the group or the slowest people. Like cyclists in the Tour de France, you're in a team, and the team can only go as fast as the slowest cyclist there. So you really need to consider that. You want your child to be in people of a similar and slightly higher level. You want to consider that carefully about how a big diversity within the group will actually slow the group down. You want to consider which course, which material, which books you're going to use. You definitely don't want papers. You want books there. You don't want things on little pieces of paper. That's just not constructive in the learning process. You want to be using professional books from a professional publisher, whether it's Cambridge or Macmillan or Heinemann or Longman. You really want something professional. Does the director teach? That's usually quite an important factor. If a director teaches within the school, they probably have a better idea of what's happening within the school and the feelings between the teachers, and so that's a good sign if the director does some teaching also. What is the turnaround of teachers? How many new teachers are in the school every year? Because a fast turnaround, a lot of teachers going in and out of a school is quite negative. You want some stability there. A little bit difficult to get that information. Maybe you want to ask a teacher and not the director or somebody. Is there a money back policy if I'm not happy? In general, there should be. It's very difficult to provide 100% satisfaction, but you need a get out clause that if you're not liking, if you're not enjoying it, you can try and do something different. So you need to check that kind of policy. Are there any extra costs for the books and materials? You want a copy of the CD so that you can practice the listening at home as well. Are there any trips that you have to pay for? So think about additional costs involved there and make sure that they're limited in some way. Can I contact the teacher personally to get personal help if I don't understand something? It's very important just to have a door open there where you can go and ask some questions if there's some problem in some area that you don't really understand. So that's another element. I've also written adult and child education is different. So you want to be thinking about the different methods employed by the teacher there. And finally, as a client, as a student, you have to give things time. You have to give the school time and you have to give the teacher time to work, because it doesn't happen instantly. It takes a number of lessons, a number of meetings for the teacher to become comfortable with the group, to understand the group, to understand the students, and be able to prepare things exactly for their needs. And vice versa, the student also needs time to get used to the teacher and the teacher's teaching method. And not every lesson is going to be the greatest experience you've ever had in your life. It's going to be hard work. So you have to be prepared to put the effort and energy into it to actually make it work. And I think if you cover all of those things, that you're going to be pretty sure that your educational future is covered in some way. Thank you very much. There'll be another post soon. Have a good day.